Hey guys, it's Elisha Taderera here, and we are back with another episode of the For the Creatives podcast. Today, I invite Aashish Samuel to have a conversation with me. We delve into the world of creativity, chasing dreams, and our love for music. We also chat about two bands, one called The Cheese Sticks and one called Relevate Collective. So get excited, strap in wherever you are, in the car, driving to work, on a run, on a walk, and enjoy this episode. All right, welcome to the podcast, Ash.
Excited to be here, Mamba.
So I need some help. I have a plant here, and I need to name it.
Yeah.
So I've got a list of suggestions that were sent in from people on Instagram.
Yep.
I'm not sure how much I like them, so I'm open to new suggestions. Someone mentioned Henry. Someone said Jack. Someone said Plant. Someone said, they got real creative here.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
And, I had the list, but I've forgotten. But yeah, do you have any ideas what I should name this?
What kind of plant is it?
It's an assorted foliage.
Sorted foliage.
So I don't know what it is.
Zuck.
Zuck?
After the Zuckerberg.
Who's your favorite rapper?
My favorite rapper. Right now, JID.
JRD?
Yeah, Jid.
Jid? Jid Zuck? Zuck Jid? No. I'm just going to call it Jid.
Jid.
Yeah, Jid.
Have you heard his music?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'll listen to it later.
That's sick.
But this plant is now formally called Jid.
Hard.
Thank you. So, Ash, tell us a bit about yourself. What are you're in school right now? You're in grade 12.
Yep.
What are you going to be studying next year?
Next year, I'm looking to study paramedicine at the University of Sunshine Coast. So I received an early principal's recommendation, which was pretty great.
Nice.
It means I only need to pass an 88 ATAR, but I just have to pass the course, pass the year 12. So that's pretty easy.
Nice. So an 88 ATAR, is that?
Fairly high.
Okay, yeah.
Like I had pretty good marks coming out of semester 1, but like even that would have been I was scraping into those high 80s, low 90s, so.
Yeah, cool. So paramedicine, is that to be a
paramedic? Yeah.
Is that what you're wanting to do, or?
Yeah, probably do the actual medicine a bit later, but
yeah,
paramedicine's good.
Like an entry point in.
It's high adrenaline.
Yeah.
I can do it for a couple of years. It's really easy to travel as a paramedic. Pretty good. A lot of people end up doing like biomed coming out of high school, and then so it's 3 years, all same as paramedicine, same as nursing, but at the end of 3 years, you don't really have a lot of job outcomes.
Yeah.
So I just chose to go into paramedicine. I was inclined towards paramedicine and radiology.
Yeah.
Both good paying, and you actually get a job at the end.
Nice. So diverting from medicine, you are in 2 different bands.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about both of them just briefly, and then we'll go a bit deeper.
Okay. First is the Cheese Sticks. Follow us on all social media platforms.
The Cheese Sticks.
The Cheese Sticks. The Cheese Sticks came out, started last year. It's not the most serious band. I'm the only one that can actually play my instrument, fun fact. So we started, one of my mates wanted to learn how to play the bass, and we said, okay, let's go down to like our music room in the school. And then one of our other friends wanted to try as well. So I've slowly started teaching the 3 of these people their own instruments. And we still really can't play them that well. But
so it's like you're all a group of friends from the same school.
Yeah. We're really a group of friends, but we decided to be a band for like a couple of months. And out of that, we started writing songs because performing live was kind of really hard when you don't really know how to play your instruments.
Yeah.
So we wrote Fairy Tales, which is on Spotify right now.
On all streaming platforms.
On all streaming platforms. Stream that up. So kind of as a joke. But it's fun. It's become a little cult classic at the school. And then second band is Relevate Collective on all streaming platforms. Night Today should be out by the time this is out. This is a lot more serious music. So we have an album coming out November 20th.
Nice.
It's stuff super solid. Friend of the podcast, Aaron, made it.
Yep.
So really happy about that. And then secret third group is so when I was like really young, there was like just in our music class, there's a bunch of boys and we call ourselves the Powerpuff Boys.
The Powerpuff Boys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we have one song on Spotify So go stream
Wait,
that out.
what? I have not
Yeah,
seen this.
I just in like grade 10. It was kind of a fun thing because we put it on SoundCloud and it was funny like that. And then I was really determined for like a solid week of getting it on Spotify.
Yeah,
So I researched for hours trying to figure out how to do it for free, and I eventually got it on. The royalty payment's like really sketchy, but like it's on, so I don't really mind.
Do you get royalties from it? Like, do you make money?
I could, but like it's just like, because you put it on for free, the cut's huge.
Oh, okay.
The cut's huge, and there's like a threshold on when you can like cash out.
Yeah.
So you have to get like a certain number to cash out.
Yeah, it'd be pretty tough.
Yeah. So boo, what's it called? I can't remember what it's called, but boo them.
Cancel the platform.
Cancel them. Use DistroKid.
Nice. So with the cheese sticks, which I love the name, my lactose intolerant stomach doesn't.
No.
But the first song you guys have, Fairy Tale.
Yep.
I listened to it again this morning.
Thanks.
I'm sure it was a very it might have been a spontaneous journey, but is there any meaning behind it, or why did you guys come up with that name and that song?
I mean, the nature of the band is very satirical, so
Yep.
the kind of upbeat, positive message of Fairy Tale was fun. It does have its rural aspects, and the lyric, because it talks about like being Prince Average, which I thought was a fun lyric.
Yeah. Because the opening line is like,
I had so
I'm
much
in
fun.
Jack's.
Yeah.
Is it? I'm in Jack's.
I'm staring at the ground, just trying to get down. Jack's beanstalk's a little too tall right now.
I loved that.
I'm feeling like Prince Average in this dead end town. I had a lot of fun writing that verse, but so it's just about like being in a rural town, you know. Most of us want to get out. No offense to Bundaberg.
Yeah.
But like it was a fun song to write. It's satirical in nature. It's it's definitely copying a lot of other music in the kind of genre, but
Yeah, because would you say it's more like alternative indie style?
yeah, it's like indie pop.
Yeah,
It's like very cut and dry indie pop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been loving like a lot of alternative rock bands and alternative indie sort of grassroots smaller Australian bands.
Yep.
I used to be like fully obsessed with hip hop, like hardcore hip hop, which I still do. I still love hip hop and pop, but that was and R&B, but that was like it. Now my taste, I feel, has expanded a lot more, still expanding. But yeah.
Definitely. Grew up listening to a lot of hip hop.
Yeah.
A lot of blues through my dad, just because he grew up on the blues. Bit of Indian music here and there, which is kind of fun to diversify my music taste and how I create music.
Yeah.
But then recently, kind of last couple of years, a lot more indie stuff, a lot more rock, a little bit of metal.
Who would you this is always a hard question, like who is your favorite artist of all time? But at the moment, who is, like you said before, Jid?
Yeah.
So who is Jid? Like what type of artist is he?
Jid's a hip hop. He's a rapper. I don't actually listen to that much rap, but in terms of rap I listen to, Jid's pretty up there. He's on Dreamville, which is J. Cole's label, so he's on all that kind of stuff.
Ah, okay. Yeah. I think I've heard of him. I just can't picture any of his songs.
Yeah, but I really listen to a lot of folk, alternative, and like indie pop stuff. To Claro, Sam Fender, huge Sam Fender fan.
Yeah.
Dayglow's sick. So a lot of people like that.
Nice. Some of my favorites at the moment are like the Gorillaz, but some of their old stuff.
Yeah.
Who else? I had to write a few down because I couldn't. I knew I'd forget in this moment. But Radiohead, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Gnarls Barkley, the 1975.
Oh, 1975 is sick. Love them.
And like Green Day, Paramore, those types of bands. So with the, being in the music sphere and being in that space, what do you like about music? Whether it's writing or playing, like what got you into it?
I've been playing music for a long time. Well, not that long. Probably started in like year 6, started on guitar. Actually, year 5 started playing clarinet, hated it, but I stuck it out for like 5 years. So
5 years?
But 5 years of clarinet, hated every day of it.
Wow, okay.
So like that sucked, and then I found guitar in like year 6, so that was, could play that for a while. Got pretty decent at guitar, so I'd still say like my main instrument is guitar.
Yeah.
As much as I play a couple of other things, but like, I mean,
it's acoustic, electric.
I started on acoustic, play bass, play drums, technically can still play clarinet, can play violin, bit of flute.
Yeah.
So whatever I really need to on the day, but so on that, it's fun. My dad played when I was growing up, so got that influence.
Yeah, nice. What did your dad play?
Well, he played guitar in the church, and then growing up in India, didn't really have too much access, so we played a harmonium, which is kind of like an accordion, but is like works differently.
They're quite big, aren't they? Like,
yeah. But it's still like kind of an accordion kind of thing, but it's harmonium.
Oh, nice. So when you're involved in music writing, whether it's on your own, I don't know, in your own space, or with a group of people, where do you go to write music? Like, I know some people have spoken about, you know, like there's different things that inspire them, or there's different headspaces they have to be in, and then they get into this like creative flow. So I guess, what does the creative process for writing a song look like for you?
Well, you can look introspectively and be like, oh, what have I experienced in my life? And then work off that. But to be honest, a lot of the time it's just TikTok. I love TikTok. Yeah. TikTok as a platform is so... Because you just get so much stuff a day. I actually draw from TikTok like a lot.
Yeah.
Poems on TikTok go hard. Like, so many people post poems. So I work off that a lot. Work off, like, people just, like, put, like, random things on, like, videos. So that stuff's always cool. You kind of get to see what other artists are doing because there's just so much on TikTok.
Oh my gosh. There's, like, millions of new videos being posted daily. Like, I can barely keep up.
And all music comes from something. Nothing's original in music anymore. It's like, I draw from so many other people's music. If it's just one word, like I'll listen to a song and I have one word, that's enough for me to go off.
Yeah.
Even Fairy Tale was pretty liberally influenced by a Bristol Maroney song.
Which song?
Freaking Out on the Interstate, which is like a huge song, but like it's definitely inspired a little bit and you can probably hear it.
Okay, nice. I think that's like creativity in general. It's like whenever you're like completely creating something new.
Yeah.
Every creation, like in a sense, there may be some things you could question around that, but in a sense, everything we create is like inspired from our lived experiences or from our environments or something else around us. We like pull from that. On that though, what is creativity to you?
I think it's expression, telling stories. Storytelling goes so much into that.
Yeah.
So creativity is just like your ability to tell stories and show emotion, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
And with the music side of things, so you're going to be studying paramedicine soon.
Yep. So.
And going that direction. Mm-hmm. What's your headspace like? Like, is music just going to be a hobby? Do you want to do more of it in the future, or is this? What are you thinking?
Tons more. I'm trying to be in as many bands as possible next year, and just because I haven't really played with a really good band other than like church stuff, but like in terms of secular music, haven't really played with like a really tight band. Yeah. So hoping to get into one of those next year and then just go from there. Trying to bartend next year. That's my main goal next year. Is just start bartending because I feel like that'd be a lot of fun. Yeah. Because I've like grew up cooking, grew up doing all that kind of stuff. So anything creative I've probably tried at least once. So bartending sounds like a lot of fun. So it's just bartending. My goal is to bartend. So I made a goals list the other night. Oh, nice. Actually, nice. I'll pull it up. It's in my notes. So I have some goals I've made for next year just because I think I need direction. I like having structure in my life. So my goals for 2023, I want to have a stable group of friends, because I picked Sunshine Coast because actually not that many of my friends are going. Pretty much everyone's going to Brisbane. And like kids go to Brisbane and then they just stay in the same friend group for like 10 years. And I wasn't feeling that vibe. So picked Sunny Coast. It's close enough to everything.
I grew up there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There's like, I know 2 people going to Sunny Coast, but like I'm really not too close with them. So stable group of friends. I make friends pretty easy, so I'm not too stressed about that. Yeah. I want to find a good church, but like at Sunny Coast there's a couple around. Yeah. Not fail the unit, which is huge because I'm doing a lot next year, hopefully. So I'm not trying. I don't need to do like super well, but if I just not don't fail, that's good. I want to start meal prepping, just like out of efficiency. Yeah. Work out. That's a really broad term, so. Yeah. My specific fitness goal is half marathon. So I've run a lot in the past. Me and Elijah have seen each other a couple times at parkrun, like once. Yeah. Wait, when was that? I don't know, man. I'm remembering it, but... Me and Elijah have done parkrun.
It's like a memory locked away, yeah, okay.
Yeah. But there's so many people parkrun, I'll just like look at someone, just like continue running. Yeah. And then my music goal is song with 10,000 streams, be in a band, write a song a week, and be a more versatile guitarist, because at the end of the day I am still a guitarist, at my roots.
Super cool. Yeah.
Just have to kind of get back to that.
That's awesome. Yeah. It's really cool that you've got a bit of direction. Yeah. Sounds like it's going to be I don't know, like a really big, exciting year, new
Yeah, for sure.
adventures, new city.
Definitely.
I love the Sunshine Coast because, like, I mean, it's getting busier, but it's not as busy or as condensed as Brisbane is. But you still have like beautiful beaches that you can go to quite, depending on where you are, but like quite quick. Beautiful beaches that you can access quite quickly. The hinterland, and then you've still got a bit of city. Like you've got enough shops all around.
And there's so many bands in Sunshine Coast. So many bands. So that kind of gives, like, Brisbane, it's like oversaturated.
Yeah.
And it's just like really hard to get gigs in Brisbane, from what I've heard from my mates who play around. But like Sunshine Coast is easy, but like a lot of bands, a lot of musicians, so it sounds like a good time.
Yeah. I went to Big Sound Music Festival a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
I hadn't heard of it before I went, but I think it's like, it's either run in partnership with Triple J or Triple J just sponsor it.
Yep.
But like most of the artists, have you heard of it?
I've heard Big Sound.
Okay, yeah. So most of the artists are like indie, like, you know, smaller musicians and stuff, or bands. But it was just like such a fun time. So it was like over 3 days. I didn't go to the full thing, but the first night in Brisbane, they had like 15 to 18 different venues, and you had to have like the Big Sound wristband on to get into any of them. So it felt like this exclusive sort of like club. And some of the bars were like, you know, upstairs in this really cool venues, or you had to go through like an alleyway or downstairs or something.
Yep.
But I just loved it. Like I wasn't personally a fan of all the music styles. But I was exposed to some new stuff, and I was like, oh, that's cool. And I looked them up on Spotify, and yeah. I love music. I'm not a musician, which anyone who knows me will know. Yeah.
No, there's guitar in the background. You guys can't see this, but there is a guitar in the background. He's an aspiring musician, don't worry.
Aspiring. It's more the fact that I love music. Like I love creativity, I love storytelling, I love music and how it makes me feel and how it can make other people feel. But I don't have the skill, and I'm not developing the skill to be a great musician. That's not. But I do want to get at least a bit better in guitar. So I was going to ask you, like, what is your superpower? So I think you mentioned, like, on an instrument level, guitar is like your core.
Yeah.
But in general, like, what is one thing that you think you're really good at?
I think like just genuine just musicianship. I think I adapt really well in a lot of different environments.
Yeah.
Because like I see a lot of kids coming up playing instruments, and they go through like A, B levels, and they just don't have the ability to adapt. Like they can read sheet music, they can play all their set pieces, but they lack the ability to like really play with others.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like that's kind of my superpower, because I've just grown up playing so much with others.
Yeah.
Because a lot of my dad's friends were musicians, so I've kind of grown up playing with them.
Do you think you might have pulled a bit of inspiration from that, like your dad's friends? Or?
Definitely. So my dad has like 3 really musical friends. So someone he worked with for like 10, 15 years was Cameron. Definitely not 10, like 7 years.
Shout out to Cameron.
Shout out to Cameron. Cameron gave me like one of my first like really good electric guitars.
Okay.
So that kind of helped me along a lot.
Yeah.
Shout out to Cameron. He's good. Plays the blues really well. And then Dowd's funny because my dad started learning like a couple years ago.
Yeah.
So he kind of learning along with me, which is fun. And then Rashad's the best one out of all of us. Rashad was a session musician in Canada. Played with Michael Jackson at some point.
Whoa.
Did like toured America in a band his own. He's French Canadian, so like very thick French accent, but he's helped me a lot.
Yeah.
I think I've drawn a lot of inspiration from his style of play. And of course all the musicians I get to play with at church, especially people like Pete Beasley, which is like have a lot of experience in the field and a very defined sound to their own playing.
Sounds like you have a diverse range of sort of inspiration and people to sort of pull from, and sort of
a lot of mentors.
Yeah.
Like even Aaron's kind of helped me along this year with a couple of producing stuff. So like
yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Sounds like a really good starting, well, not a starting point, but a really good, like, you know, base, a strong base to go into moving to a new city and to pursuing that direction more. Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. So, you know Dr. Dre, right?
Yes.
Okay. You know, let's just imagine a few years' time, okay, you've been pursuing music, making a bit of a name for yourself, and maybe, I don't know realistically if you can do both of these things together, but you're also a doctor in medicine.
You make it sound like Dr. Dre's actually a doctor.
I know, but I'm thinking of you.
Okay.
Dr. Ash. How does that sound? Or Dr. Aashish. But like as a musician's name. As your stage name. Dr. Samuel?
Yeah, Dr. Samuel's
Dr. Samuel?
Yeah, because doctors don't use that first name.
Yeah, Dr. Samuel?
Yeah, that'd be hard.
Or do you have any ideas of what a stage name,
I don't know.
personal name?
I think it's hard.
Yeah.
Because when I wanted to because I haven't really released too much music. I only released like 2 songs.
Yeah.
And both of those were pretty satirical, so they don't take themselves too seriously. But we live in Australia. Me and Elijah are both minorities, fun fact. Don't know if you guys noticed, but... So using my name, especially because Aashish, which is like a very ethnic name, is like an interesting thing to think about, to release under a name which isn't too common.
Yeah, okay.
It's like I still have to think about whether I would release under Aashish or something more generic.
Yeah.
Because at some levels, like, do you want to appear like super marketable?
Yeah.
Or do you want to like sell yourself out and get whitewashed? Like, do I want to whitewash myself?
It's a real discussion though.
It is because we both grown up as minorities. Like, it's an interesting thing to think about.
Yeah.
Like how much it plays into how people perceive us.
Before they even see you or hear your music,
Yeah.
you're just a name.
Yeah, and if people just see me, I'm automatically now an Indian musician instead of just a musician.
Yeah.
Even if I'm not playing Indian music, I'm still...
Because even if you don't market yourself like that, people do. Like the media would as well, just like naturally.
You're a successful entrepreneur instead of just a successful entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Like when you are a minority, it does come into play. So I have to think about if I want to go with Aashish or find a stage name or go with Ash. Which so...
Just do what Marshmallow does. Don't release your identity.
Yeah, no one knows.
He still hasn't.
He still hasn't.
Yeah.
No, he plays it as a joke like every year. Like Will Ferrell was Marshmallow one year. But like as minorities in creative fields, it's something to think about.
Yeah.
Is how to market yourself.
Yeah, like it is something I had thought about with other musicians before, but it's not something I've had big conversations about when it comes to musicians, like in the music space.
Like I can't think of anyone who looks like there's not too many brown musicians like around, or like even like anyone like ethnic who really uses like a super out there name. There's like Pratik Kuhad, he's like a folk singer.
Yeah.
Who's on Obama's top 50 musicians list like a couple years ago. So there's him, but like I can't really think of too many people.
Yeah, I'm trying to think myself. Like
Dami Im. She's on X Factor a while ago.
One of the musicians who I don't know exactly what nationality, but like was a minority at Big Sound. I love some of his stuff. Have you heard of YB?
I think so.
But that was just it. That was his name, YB. Yeah. So like, it's like just 2 letters. Not sure what the background of that is, but yeah. Yeah. Well, you've got a bit of time before you have to work.
Yeah. I think I'll play a lot more before I release. Have to find people to write with and such, and really cement myself in the scene in Sunshine Coast. Yeah. Yeah.
No, that's cool. And if you could in the future collaborate with anyone at all, alive or dead, actually, anyone at all in the world, what comes to mind?
Phoebe Bridgers. I love Phoebe Bridgers.
Phoebe Bridgers.
Phoebe Bridgers.
It's not Phoebe from Friends, the show, is it?
No. Have you never heard of Phoebe Bridgers?
You know, I don't have a great memory. Most people that know me know that, so I may have heard of her.
Yeah, or like Lizzie McAlpine, which is another cool singer-songwriter.
I'm gonna write these names down.
Yeah.
So if you could collaborate with anyone, it'd be... Yeah.
Because they're both like really cool writers, and their instrumentation is really cool. Like it's unique music.
No, that's awesome. So outside of medicine, and music, what other hobbies do you have?
I cook a lot, so I've grown up cooking. A lot to do with my heritage and such. Yeah. But that'd be cool. Maybe you want to open a restaurant one day.
Nice.
So that'd be fun. Something me and my dad have always spoken about. Because my dad cooks a lot and he's pretty involved in business and stuff, so he's always thought about it. Yeah.
Because what does your dad do at the moment?
My dad is head of radiology at Canberra General.
Canberra General.
So he does a lot of, even though that's his job, he does a lot of business stuff. Yeah. And like real estate and stuff. So like going into commercial real estate, of course, and like opening a restaurant has always intrigued him. Yeah.
No, no.
So it may be something in the future.
Big aspirations.
Yeah.
When I was in grade 7 on the Sunshine Coast, me and two of my close friends at the time, we had this, I think I mentioned this before, but we had this dream, and we like wrote stuff out on starting a restaurant called the Three Musketeers, because we all loved cooking. Yeah. It's still very much I feel like I could also in the future open a restaurant, but
I mean, you've done a lot. I feel like you've done like I was on Instagram one time, and I like there was a recommended profile, and it was your old clothing store on
House of Zen.
Yeah, House of Zen. And
Yeah.
I'm looking through this, I'm like, who? So I was just kind of intrigued because like
Yeah.
I'd heard the name just like driving past. So I was looking through this, and I see a picture of Elijah's sister modeling one of the clothes. I'm like, oh, that's weird. And I kept trying. I'm like, oh, Elijah owned the place. I'm like, of course Elijah owns the place.
I think there's still a lot of people that know me now that don't know that.
Yeah, I figured that out so late. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, real? Because it's just an unexpected thing. Because when did you buy that? Like, when did you open the place?
I was 18.
Which is so young.
20-ish. I've lost track of years. 2016, I think.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's so long ago, and I was just really confused by that because you wouldn't put together like an 18-year-old.
Yeah.
And
It was
I
a
wouldn't
very
go.
big like I've spoken about it before, I think briefly on here, and I'm going to be talking about it more in one of the next episodes coming up.
Yeah.
One of my friends is actually going to interview me on this podcast. But it was a very when I was 18, and I still think this way, but with a bit more wisdom. When I was 18, I thought I could do anything, like anything at all.
Yeah.
So to me, in the moment, it didn't seem like a big thing. I was just like,
That's
the
impressive.
opportunity's there. Let's
Yeah.
go for it. What is one sort of, I mean, you've already spoken about a few big things, like, you know, you're going to be studying paramedicine, maybe being a paramedic, medicine, music, maybe opening a restaurant.
Yeah.
But if you could do anything at all, like anything in any location of the world, not worrying about money, what would it be?
I would be a musician because being a musician's fun nowadays because you don't need to be anywhere. You don't need to be in like a city hub. You can just like be in a garage.
Yeah.
Somewhere random and just like make music and produce. Like Dayglow lives in like rural Arkansas and just like makes music out of a shed or something.
Yeah.
I don't know that to be true, but like he's like somewhere rural-ish. So you can just do that and release music on Spotify. So I can be anywhere. And I always told my dad I was going to move to the Netherlands because it seems like an interesting time.
Okay.
So like Netherlands and just make music.
I want to go to the Netherlands next year, actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's cool.
Sounds like fun. I like cold weather as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with like social media, like TikTok, like, I mean,
Yeah.
we know it's still hard for musicians to make it big and to make a career out of it,
Yeah, it's a hard platform.
but TikTok has like made it, I think, more possible for musicians outside of agencies.
Definitely, because it just puts your music in like random people's hands.
Yeah.
And like the algorithm's kind of tough to get a hand on. I've tried for like a while.
Yeah.
And like it just doesn't make sense to me. Cause like I'll put 5 videos out for like 300, 400 likes. Cool.
Yeah.
Then like a week later I'll get like 7. So like patterns and like when you're supposed to post.
And they keep changing the algorithm and like changing small things.
Yeah, bro. It's long. Like I don't understand it to be honest, but like.
But if you can make it on there, like it's got the potential to.
I think it's chance. Like.
Yeah.
And like, cause you've done this stuff too. Like to look at like the statistics on thing is like average watch time.
Yeah.
Like you have to hook them in like first 2 seconds to keep them in for like 20 seconds. Cause like if you look at it, my average watch time on like a video that does well is very relative. Well here is like 400 likes, like 300 likes.
Yeah.
And the average watch time is like 22 seconds on a minute video. So and something that does badly is like 6 seconds. So like.
I think what we've seen with TikTok, especially like over the last few years, is that there's been a big push to, like you mentioned, capture people's attention in those first 2 seconds.
Yeah.
But because of that, a lot of people are focusing on trying to shock people, on that shock factor.
Yeah.
It's like, and I think this is across the board. It's like trying to make the most craziest thing, or trying to, you know, even sort of borderline manipulate you in in the
definitely.
wording and how things are done to get you to listen. But I actually think soon we're going to see a bit of a convergence away from that.
Yeah, away from short form content.
Well, I think we'll still have short form content, but I think a bit more focus on long form content. That's quality content though. Focusing on quality, actual like stuff that has substance.
Yeah.
I think.
I guess it's cyclical. We had Vine, and then huge shift to YouTube, and now we're on TikTok, and let's go back to.
Oh, I loved Vine. Like
Vine was the same thing because you had 7 seconds.
Yeah.
You can't even set up a joke. Like it was punchline first, then like just explain, and then YouTube was so much more quality.
But just when Vine like first came out, like I was a Vine creator. Okay, I didn't have more than 400 followers, but I was a Vine creator.
Yeah.
And it was just, I think for me, that's one of the points in time where I sort of birthed this idea of content creation. Like I don't do a heap of my own content creation right now, but like you probably don't know, but I've made YouTube videos before, a music parody video before. Yeah, like a few different things. They're not up live at the moment.
Oh, damn.
But that's where it started, was with Vine.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I can actually like play around with these different like, you know, transitions, or it wasn't even crazy stuff back then, but it was like, it just felt cool.
I'm too young for Vine. I was like 8 years old when Vine was kicking about, so.
Yeah, because it was like 10 years ago or something when it was in its peak. And Vine 2.0 came, but I'm not.
No one.
Yeah. I didn't use that. But yeah, no, it'd be cool to see what you do with music and what you do, where you head. Do you have any parting words that you would like to share with the listeners today? In your 17 years of life.
17 years of life. Tough. I don't know, just have fun.
Don't do drugs.
Don't do drugs. Have fun. Live life to the fullest.
Yeah, no. I'm not going to make it that formal.
I have a fun time in life. Like, I don't take life too seriously. I just kind of go day by day, see whatever happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a question which you may have been asked before, and I've been asked so many times over in my short period of life. But it's like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Or where do you see yourself in 10 years? And I do think it's important to have some goals and some direction. However, I like the question more, who do you want to be in 5 years? Like, as a person, like, who do you want to be?
I want music to work. Like, I really want it to work.
But so, like a good friend, a musician. Yeah.
Like, I mean, I'm pretty happy right now.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm a paramedicine and just still trying, that's okay with me. Yeah. What do I want to be? I want to make it in music. But like, if it doesn't work out, I'll still be happy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I live a pretty fun life, to be honest. And like, I live a weird life compared to most people. And like, you can relate to this as well. Because like, we're at weird things throughout the week, like photo shoots. And recording a podcast. And like writing nights. And like with mum. I was explaining to my mum. Because she's like, where are you going? I'm like, a podcast. I'm like, she's like, what's a podcast? Because my mum was like pretty like virtually challenged. Like, she says something weird just there. Like, I go in. She's like, please turn off the car. The Bluetooth keeps on leaking. I'm like, what does that mean? And I don't know what she's talking about. I think she's mean like the headlights, but she called it the Bluetooth, and I don't.
It's the quote of the day. The Bluetooth keeps on leaking.
It was like Bluetooth's still on. I'm like, what? Because it's Suki Swift, and it's an old one too. Like, I don't think she's leaking, but she's just like, the Bluetooth is like on. I'm like, what do you mean Bluetooth? It doesn't have. It's like, and she talks like, she points at the headlights. I'm like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
So my mom's like confused by a lot of the things I do, because I'm like, I have a photo shoot. It's like, a photo shoot for what? Yeah, so many photo shoots this year.
Yeah.
I've had to do so many for Relevant Collective, and like Cheese Stick stuff, and like everything.
And like, in like a generation ago, a photo shoot would be more for like, you know, a magazine or some PR media thing.
Or someone who's more successful than we are.
Yeah.
And now we just like do them, and we do Spotify releases. Don't need a label. It's weird now.
It's a new time.
Everything's so accessible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming and joining the For the Creators podcast today.
Thank you for having me.
And we'll make sure to put your links in the description.
Yeah, I'll send them to you.
Yeah, cool. Thanks. And that is a wrap. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and I hope you've been enjoying this podcast. If you did, why not leave us a review? The more reviews we have, the more new people can find out about this podcast, and the more episodes we can keep creating. Now, stay tuned. Coming up soon, we have an episode being released with Kirsten Williams. She is a business, life, and creativity coach, and we are going to talk about creativity on a deeper level and look at it a bit differently. So stay tuned for that.